Once upon a time, business as usual was often good enough. No more. Where we are going, good enough is dead. In a world where everything is connected, where everything is equally excellent, where performance is reaching perfection, there's only one space left to innovate in: you. Right now, you are a central point in the raging tornado of change fueled by digitization, mobilization, augmentation, disintermediation, automation. Well, the list goes on. Science fiction is becoming science fact. Think about self-driving cars or computers that can learn and think. The way we work will never be the same. The skills we need will be dramatically different. Winning or losing are now happening faster than ever before. So what's your response? How will you discover new opportunities in one of the most transformational times in human history? Are you driving change, or are you being driven by it? Disruption has become the new normal. With change, it's always gradually, then suddenly, well, things really have stopped happening gradually. This change is exponential. Everything that used to be dumb and disconnected is now wired and intelligent. Cars, cities, ports, farms, even our bodies will be wired with sensors and will talk to each other. These game changers are also combinatorial. They amplify each other, creating a perfect storm of change. Quantum computing fuels big data. The Internet of Things fuels artificial intelligence and deep learning, which fuels robotics. However, anything that cannot be digitized or automated will become extremely valuable. Human-only traits such as creativity, imagination, intuition, emotion, and ethics will be even more important in the future, because machines are very good at simulating, but not at being. Yes, robots and software will do some of our work, but this will allow us to focus on things that cannot be automated. To imagine change squared, you've got to start engaging more with what might be, not just with what is. Immerse yourself in the immediate future, 5 to 7 years out from today. We need to go beyond technology and data to reach human insights and wisdom. Technology represents the how of change, but humans represent the why. The future is about holistic business model. The opportunity is to be liquid, to learn just in time, not just in case, not single improvements, but complete transformations, not individual systems, but new ecosystems. Humanity is where true and lasting value is created. We will engage, relate, and buy things because of the experiences they provide, because of their transformative power. The future doesn't just happen. The future gets happened. The new way to work is to embrace technology, but not to become it. The future is in technology, yet the bigger future lies in transcending it. Let's live and lead from here.
And I'll start my presentations. All right, so as you, I found that video, kind of stumbled upon that video non-purposely. I was actually researching for something else for my other video, and then I saw that video. That's pretty much what I want to speak the whole presentation. I can just show you again the video, I can sit down. But that's really the main topic of today, which we really try to bring the message across different speakers also. It's the important role and how can we embrace the whole digital transformation changes. Very quickly, agenda. So we're going to talk about how all this science fiction become the science fact now, the elements of the digital transformation itself. How do you choose, at least my version, on how do you choose the right technology? And this is just an additional stuff that we're going to do a quick introduction of something that we've been doing in the last 6 months, and we're going to introduce something called Swift. I'll go there later. All right, with further ado, this is what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about technology disruption. So if you come to my event 2 years ago, I actually already start talking about this. This is actually a continuation of what I'm sharing last time. I mentioned about there's about 5 disruptions that need to happen in the business. And one of the key one is actually technology, because technology really driving everything. When your customer change, your customer journey change, one of the key driven things is the technology change that basically change everything, how everything works. And obviously there's other stuff, the business operation, human resources. Hopefully next year I'm gonna do the next topic down. But anyway, my wife said, let's start with something that really exciting, because like when you talk about technology, the tendency, we're talking about the gloom of the retail, technology killing a lot of stuff, but we're actually living in a very exciting day, right? So I compiled together a very quick 3 minutes video. I'm gonna narrate the video, but just to show you what's happening nowadays in our world, right? So we're talking about artificial intelligence, obviously. That's the big keyword. We're talking about machine learning, and if we talk about that, we cannot escape from the self-driving car. I mean, this is the perfect example of how we use AI to actually doing something in the world. And then we're talking about AR. Maybe you guys play Pokemon Go here. That the one who play the Pokemon, you use a feature, what we call AR, but actually in the business world right now, IKEA doing something real things with the AR. You are actually able to use their apps to see how the furniture actually laid down in your house. Another thing is that people are doing right now are called magic mirror, where basically you can just change your clothing in front of mirror without actually changing the clothes. Imagine that if this is affordable enough and if this is going to be in your bedroom, that's what you do, right? VR is a little bit complex. I'll let the video talk to you first. This is a very good, maybe example.
Welcome, Anne. What do you need?
Hi, Super. I need some pasta. Let's see then. There it is. Whoops, I almost forgot. Lucy, who's gluten intolerant, is also going to be there tonight. Show me just the gluten-free products, please.
Anne, I have activated the gluten filter for this shelf.
Now I need snacks for my son.
Hey, Anne, you have almost reached the number of points necessary to claim the new prizes. I'll highlight the products that award more points.
Yes, Super, thank you. Look at these. So many points and great ratings. Nice, I'll take it. Be it. Let's go check out on Super. I might have picked up too many apples. Okay, now you can pay.
Transaction authorized. What time will you be home in the afternoon?
After 5 p.m.
Perfect. Enjoy your supper.
Thanks, Super. See you next time. Maybe I'll invite you.
Isn't that nice? That's exactly, and all the baby will look like this at home. That's a joke, but I mean, that's where the VR, I mean, right now, I mean, that's something that you can actually do, and it's not too far away. Obviously, with the IoT, it's a big thing, smart kitchen things, and so, yeah, so IoT, which is leading to the robotic stuff that Amazon already been doing, which is those are the stuff that been, the trend now is getting more and more robot actually doing stuff for human. You can see this Amazon facility where everything is just robot. And this is a dynamic pricing on a lot of supermarkets now are actually implementing this, where they can change the price across the whole store. Obviously, self-checkout is a big thing in US and a lot of countries too. And with the application-based payment, that's make it even easier. Can I go back to my slide? So obviously, bring it to our world. I mean, the most one that already hit us right now is Gojek, right? I mean, anybody here never used Gojek in a way, GoFood? it's everybody using it now. Why? This is exactly example of how technology has really changed the way we do stuff. So we all agree that technology really disrupting how we do the business as usual. Now, we can take it like this, as a threat and afraid, or we can embrace it. And that's more your choices, right? I mean, technology will not hold back. So now will you gonna start thinking about how can you use and leverage that, like Walmart trying to develop to detect somebody happy or not. I mean, things like that. I mean, this is pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's your choice. Now, let's go back into the kind of the elements of the digital revolution first. I mean, what's really causing all those? This is the four things that are happening actually, not at the same time, but it's actually combining together become what we see right now. Obviously, data is the first thing. When we say data, it's not something new actually. I mean, human has been collecting data since old days. I mean, from the caveman writing in the wall, that's how we're collecting data. We invent paper, we invent fax machine to storing data. I mean, Excel, I think most of people right now here, a lot of you using Excel to stuff data. But what happened is with the power of machine that we have right now, that's compound the amount of the data that we can process and we can analyze. So we apply something that is not new, predictive statistic model. It's an old school. I mean, we learned that in the statistics school. That's not something new. But when you apply the same formula that we have into a massive data, I mean, we learned in the statistical, it's all about sampling. So when the sampling is small, yeah, we get probability closer to what we want. But when the amount of the data is so huge, I mean, you got that humongous of sampling of the data, then it's become very, very powerful. And on the top of that, then the machine can learn it by itself, then it's make it even tremendously. I mean, it's just enormously. You can really, I mean, it's very, very powerful. So I mean, this is the stuff that when you're thinking about the digital revolution in your business, the first thing is you're thinking about what kind of data in your business that has to be digitalized first. I mean, I amaze sometimes a lot of the company here selling items, merchandise, and they still don't have even SKU number. Everything is just throwing stuff in the warehouse. They don't even know how much they have. They don't even have a product information organizing. I mean, those are kind of the data, right? I mean, and another story is talking about the customer, obviously. A lot of industry having a hard time to track what their customer is because they're just not able to do the customer. But things like that can be your starting point, right? I just have a meeting with one of the F&B company. Obviously, they've been in the business for a long time. They want to go into the data analytics stuff. And then obviously the first question is, what kind of data we have? We can't do all those machine learning. We can't do all those predictive. We don't have data, right? I mean, it's all as good as your data. So you have to start somehow. So obviously there are difficulties as F&B, as any F&B. It's like, how can you identify a customer, what they do, what they buy? I mean, they usually just come to the restaurant, they buy, and they go home. That's it, right? So I mean, this is just me brainstorming. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the way that you do, but what if, like, you give, I mean, a lot of the restaurants give a free Wi-Fi, right, to the customers. I mean, if you can, instead of just give the password lazily, here, the Wi-Fi password, you spend a little bit more on the technology and actually, you're actually doing something like what they do on the Singapore airport, where when you want to connect Wi-Fi, you have to put your phone number first or something like that. Then you can actually identify that particular table, that particular session, that particular hours. This is the guy that actually sitting on that table. And you cross-reference that with your POS data, then you can actually make a link. Who's actually that person actually eating on that table? So that's something simple like that, right? I mean, obviously, it's not simple. I oversimplify, but that's just a thinking thought that I want you to bring from as far as digitalize your data, right? There's a lot of way that you can start thinking about how do you start collecting that data. Now, another thing is about the way that you run the metric, right? I mean, with the whole customer journey changes now. Used to be you have all this retail metric that you've been running, sales per square meter and stuff like that. Now with all the new data that you have, then you can go even further. You can go to the customer journey inside. You can do the churn rate. We have a great session today from Manton and a lot of, like Wixo and a lot of companies. It's going to talk about all of this. I hope that will give us a lot of good insight of what we can do with the data. Secondly, it's the connectivity. I mean, this is really the golden era of revolution, right? It's the internet. We know, all of us know it's the internet really bringing everything change. So imagine that same data that used to be in a silo now, it actually can travel across the world. And that's multiply that same data, become much, much more bigger data pool. Then you're talking about IoT now. I mean, you see on the screen where Amazon do that small thing, what Amazon, what's that? Not dot, Amazon Dash. It's not familiar in Indonesia, but Amazon Dash is something simple. I mean, it's quite simple actually. That it's blow my mind sometimes. Like how something simple like this is really going to change our life. Like if you put it, the Dash is like something very small like this. You put it like near your like toilet paper. You run out of it, you just press the button. It sends the data right away to Amazon. Say, hey, I need to buy that, and next day you will get the toilet paper. See, it's simple. I mean, it's not robot. I mean, it's not machine learning. It's not science rocket. It's still human pressing the button. But this is not. This can be done in the past because there's no Internet of Things. There's no interconnected stuff. But now with the Internet so easily applicable, this becomes something that can be implemented so easily. And that's the power of the connectivity here. And that's where things change. And those two combined, that's where the innovation can actually come through. And that's what we see right now, IoT, AR, stuff that I showed before. It's just the fruit of this data and connectivity. A lot of them, that's become the groundbreaking stuff. There will be no robotic if there's no data. There will be no self-driving car if there's no data. If Google doesn't do all the mapping data, the geo data in the beginning, there won't be a self-driving car. This all starts with the data and the connectivity, obviously. And at the end, obviously, the value is if only the innovation that brings value will sustain, and if not, then it's just not going to sustain. That's all. So when you do stuff, you have to prioritize what really brings value to your company. So the video is also very good, and that's not really related, but I like to highlight what the video also say. Stuff that cannot be digitized. Obviously, human factor will not be digitized. Just very short story that I do, right? People always said, oh, my job is kind of jeopardized because it's going to be replaced by robot. And that's true because we forget to put the human part in our job. That's really what's happening. So I was in the transit back from Thailand to Indonesia and stay in Singapore. It's my fault. I didn't book the right room in the transit hotel. I don't know if you know the transit hotel in Singapore. They have 2 12-hour shifts, morning and evening. And I do the booking.com and I choose the wrong shift, basically. I'm supposed to arrive at night and I'm choosing the morning shift so that when I arrive, I don't get the room. I mean, data-wise, it's all good, yes. I come there, I'm not supposed to get my room. That's completely understandable. But as a human, obviously there's kecewa. And also, there's some glitch on the way that they booking.com show the confirmation, stuff like that. But the person in the hotel, they just try explaining why I cannot get the room instead of try to be empathy to me. And that's what really fueled me at that point. I'm tired. This is 1 o'clock in the morning. I know I'm screwed up. At least you can say, sorry, I'm empathy with your situation, but we really don't have room. Please feel free, our sofa, if you want, you can stay there. Things like that will make a lot of difference if they can do that as a human being, right? I mean, if all they do is just explaining what I'm wrong, I can just do with the vending machine. I don't need a human for helping me. I just put a machine, I don't get it, that's it. I have probably less anger with that. So that's just a very quick example of like how the human touch still matter. Okay, so now we know that we can't escape the digital transformation, and obviously in Indonesia, this is something that is just starting. I mean, why we usually resistant to it, right? So typically, these are the most common thing, right? I mean, obviously the big thing is afraid of changes. Changes is hard for anybody. And as people will say, current business is fine as it is. Why do I have to change? So that's another. Manual operation is still cheaper. Human resource is hard to get. I think last year presentation is very good from Alpha Card when Catherine say it's hard to get the good people to actually running e-commerce in Asia. It's not ready. There's no enough resources to do that. And actually running e-commerce is much more expensive in Indonesia compared to in other countries like in the US. It's just kind of the flip. Actually, e-commerce should be much cheaper than running in the offline. But anyway, that's a completely different discussion altogether. Don't know where to start. Yes, technology can be expensive. I agree with you. And too many options. Here, just marketing technology. If you go to this chefmarket.com, this website every year publishes all the technology available on the marketing. This is just marketing alone technology. You can see that. Blah. How can you choose, right? But you have to start somehow, right? And sometimes it's easy. I know this is not all true. I mean, I oversimplified this, but there's a period of the proof of concept, yes. But there's also, when you invest in the technology, you invest on the platform, you invest on a whole lot more holistic than just being online. Sometimes I see a lot of clients just being trapped on that few. I just want to be online, selling online, but not thinking as a whole digital transformation process of the company. The online is actually a small part of the digital transformation that need to happen in the company. So, I mean, this is as my sometimes doing a part-time CTO anywhere, everywhere. This is my secret sauce on how I choose technology. I mean, it doesn't need to be a Magento, it doesn't need to be there. So I will always use this 6 thing. I mean, obviously technology, you have to be progressive. If not, then you're not investing on technology. If you come, I mean, this is not only buying software or buying technology or building your own, it's applied to in general, right? I mean, that's why when you qualify a vendor, you're always asking like where they are before, what they're doing before, what they're doing after that. Right, Ben? We asking you about the product vision yesterday. So that's what we always do, right? I mean, we want to see where the direction of the company go as far as the in the technology side, because that's important. We need a company that nimble, that always moving to progress. Obviously scalable, your business changing, the technology itself has to be able to follow you. This is not being covered a lot. Usually people just skip this slide. Yes, secure is not something that we need to care. But in e-commerce, we have the term like PADSS compliance, things like that. A lot of people just brush it out. But it's just actually important because you are investing in a digital world. It's much more complex than just like a physical world where you can put a person to secure everything. I mean, beyond the operation, there's something, a lot of things that has to be available on that technology itself. And the next 3 one is a little bit not common. I mean, but this is something that I think is very important. I mean, you can agree to disagree with me, but modular I think is very important because I see that a lot more technology right now is becoming more and more specialized. I almost don't see one person that can create a technology that basically can do everything at one shot. Even the big guy like the SAP, they don't build it. I mean, a lot of them, they just buy because they know that other company that they buy is already do it so well, they just bought it and make it as part of their ecosystem. So the modularity is very important in terms of the technology has to be very good on what they do, If somebody can say that, oh, I can do everything, that's pretty much a BS. And combine that with the extensibility, I mean, the technology itself has to be able to evolve, right? I mean, I like this picture. I mean, this is the same concept, right? It's just a circle thing, but they can use it for the living room, they can use it for in the garden, they can modify it for so many different things. So this is like combined with that modularity and extensibility, it becomes a very, very useful concept. And lastly, Apple coined this term. It's all about ecosystem, right? So when they modular, the extendability, now it's become a jigsaw puzzle. How can you make this very nice ecosystem, right? I mean, Magento have this ecosystem partner where they're making sure that everything that we do, all the partner, whatever that they do is all work together, not just work together. Apple said work together beautifully. So that's the thing about ecosystem, right? I mean, obviously ecosystem, a lot of different approaches from different companies. Like for example, in the SAP, They have the whole hybrid HANA, Oracle have Oracle Commerce Cloud. Everybody tried to build this whole ecosystem that they try to build. And Magento is basically embracing a lot of the partners to work together to build this one big ecosystem. They don't do everything themselves. So it's a different philosophy, but it's the same. It's at the end of the day, it's try to build one nice ecosystem, and that's very important. When you select technology, you cannot just piecemeal and then don't know where it's connected to. This is where the big picture you have to have, because now you are building this ecosystem, work together. For example, like we use Apple iPhone with the Windows, yes, you can use it, but maybe not as optimum as if using with the Apple Mac. Things like that has to be part of your decision. We always do this in iCube, analyzing all the different kind of technology and what we're going to map to, where it is. And it's a continuous process. It's a continuous process that we always do to make sure that it's worked together well. So this is just for the final thought before I introduce with my final presentation, but just something that you bring for the digital transformations. It's like we often caught up with this running nose, right, on this operation that we're running. So we try to focus on technology just for that, what we do. And we forget to actually step back and to see that holistic effort, what we try to do, and positioning all this technology to support that holistic effort rather than the small effort. And a silo usually kills innovations. When departmental have their own agenda and they're all choosing their own technology, this is where the fragmented within the company technology happen. And that's usually kill the innovations. And this is something that we, it's a cliche, but yeah, technology is not a tool anymore. It's actually become a part of essential part of business process that you have to kind of incorporate into it. So you have to start thinking that in that holistic way. All right, how much minutes do I have? So I know how to run. 5, wow, okay, I have to run. So very quickly, you can ask more in this one on my booth, but so we're taking this approach. Okay, Magento is really great. I love Magento. Ben knows, we love Magento. But for people that just started, sometimes it's really hard to jump in. So we try to, this is the complaint usually, high learning curve, complex setup, expensive implement, highly requires developers, stuff like that. There's a lot more. Just throw it some. But how can we make it easier? So we try to bring a bridge basically to people so that they can try out Magento and they can grow. So we come up with Swift. Basically, it's Magento. It's 100% Magento. You still can use, it's nothing more. We love Magento. We didn't change Magento. And you can upgrade to all our solutions. So when you graduate from Swift, you can go to Enterprise and so on. It's secure. We followed the lead from Magento Cloud Edition, so every client will be on its own kind of path so that they don't interfere with each other, just quickly. And then we collect the stuff that we know that all client needs in the beginning. So we choose a lot of partner. I think I might not have times for you, sorry. But I want to introduce quickly from this for stock, maybe just very quickly, just a couple seconds. So this is something that what we do. We always looking for a partner in solution. Not just us to do a lot of solutions. So Forstock is one of it, right? They do all this connection. Why did you, Geswin, you introduce yourself?
Hello, hi. I'm Geswin. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Forstock. Forstock is a multi-channel selling platform. We connect with all this marketplace. So if you have a website using a Magento page, you can connect with all of this marketplace. So you can integrate all your sales channel in one place, in one platform. So basically, you can see here, if you have your stock in 23, all your sales channel will be all 23. So if you have order in one of the channel, everything will be in sync automatically. So the key benefit is to maximize the online distribution to increase your revenue. Centralize inventory for real-time visibility and streamline operation to improve efficiency and real-time reporting. Okay.
Thank you, Geswin.
Thank you.
You can find Geswin on my booth on iCube, so you can ask more questions about it. But I just want to point out that's exactly what we're doing is basically we're working closely with a lot of selected partners to make sure this out-of-the-box functionality is actually already ready for a lot of needs that we need in Indonesia. And we also, obviously, we do all the scalability. We work with a lot of technology to make sure that it's scalable. I just want to very quickly, just 5 seconds, sorry, I'm out. But this is meant for an ecosystem too, so I'm inviting a lot of agency as well to work with us and as other solution partner. That's why we work with Midtrans, we work with all this logo here to make sure that we can deliver a very meaningful starting point in Magento, so without all the programming stuff. And then when you grow, you go next to the enterprise and stuff like that. So, sorry, I'm running out of time. If you have any questions, you feel free to find me and the booth and talk some more. And I will introduce the rest of the speaker, which is from Wixo, Hetal. He's gonna introduce a bit about his solution. Thank you.